Christ! People seem to really love the stupid Captain America Civil War films so far. Why would they want to cheer on superheroes beating each other up?
Language, Batman. Really? You do realize your entire film was based around that idea, right?
Oh, hi, Captain America. I didn't see you there behind that stupid shield.
No worries, but your argument sounds more like jealousy than logic.
Whatever. You Marvel heads are all, overrated.
Not really. We built our cinematic universe over many years. We earned our stripes. You DC boys need to learn from us, not get mad.
Well, maybe we should do Batman versus Captain America next. Christ.
If it makes you feel better, I'll kick your butt any day. You, want to talk about it, Batman? Sounds like you have some issues.
The hell with you, red, white, and blue.
Hang on to your shields, Bull. You just joined Super Geeks.
Alright. That was kind of weird. I mean, Batman, Captain America. Who the hell invited those two on the show? Anybody?
You did.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did. It's your show.
Oh, that's right. Well, sometimes people infiltrate, and I just let them do their thing,
Yeah, what superheroes are going to show up next week?
Or supervillains.
Probably Batman. Oh. He's here every week.
Or
so.
I have a bucket list, as they call it. But we'll see.
Well, see, Batman seems to be down on his luck. He's borrowing money from George.
I know. Did anybody ever pay him the $5? Seriously?
I think he wants you to pay him.
I don't know. Magnum drove him off a couple weeks ago. I don't know what happened.
I'm not giving him anything.
Me either. It's going to come out of... You know what? John's going to pay him.
Me?
Anyone ask me for Tree Fitty, I'm running.
No, really. What we'll do is we'll tell him John's going to pay him, but you don't actually have to do it, John. He'll be afraid of you. Trust me.
He's going to sell his Batmobile.
All right. So my name is George. Chooch99A is my Twitter, as Anthony would say it. And that's where you can find me on Twitter. Obviously, that's why I said Twitter, because I got that from Anthony. So where can people find you, Magnum?
On Twitter, at Anthony Battles.
Oh, I see what you did there. What about you, Will?
On Twitter, at Intrinsicus. That's intrinsic with a US on the end.
And Ross?
I'm on Twitter, Subsailor688.
And John, where can people find you?
Yes, my name's John. You can find me at vanishingpoint.biz.
Which is also a great place for getting 3D models. By the way, just a little update. I've been doing renders, test renders. I'm going to be revealing them soon. I've been working on a Batman graphic novel called, what the hell was the name? Oh, The Darkness War Brings. It's the first of 3 parts. John has been helping me with his awesome site, vanishingpoint.com. .biz, B-I-Z.
.biz, yes.
Yep. And so there's a lot of cool stuff happening there, and when we eventually get a website, we will post that. Otherwise, we'll put it on Google Plus or something. And, the cool thing about 3D modeling is that you can do graphic novels and all these other things as long as you learn how to use the program. So you can go to Daz.com. Was it Daz 3D? I'm sorry.
Daz3D.com.
Daz3D.com, and you can... I'm pimping them, and they don't even know me, but I don't care because it's an awesome program. And John,
that's where you have to go get the software itself to load all
your
your models
Daz
into.
Or Poser, right,
to make all your graphic novels and animations and artwork.
Right, and John runs a site that you can get assets for it. You can get sets, you can get free things and things that don't cost that much, and you could get them to add to your library of assets, which is cool. So, yeah.
If you have a fancy 3D printer, you can use stuff from.
Which you
That's
have,
right.
don't you, Russ? which you do. Ross, do you want
Yes,
to
I
pimp
do.
out the program that you use, or
I'm not too keen on
You're not happy
pimping
with
it
them, are
since it was such a pain in the butt to actually get a replacement from.
they're like the
I
Motorola of like, you know how the iPhone and everything nowadays for cell phones? They were like the Blackberries of the 3D printer in the early stages. Is that fair to say?
The printer I have is a 5th generation MakerBot replicator.
Ah,
It is the latest model, which is probably going to be usurped soon.
Well, yeah.
But they're the big name in commercial and
they're gonna be
not exactly for home use. It can be for home use, but they market more towards the commercial side.
I understand, and it won't be long before they're outdated. They're obsolete, pretty much, right? You got in there on the early stages.
No. I came in when they started moving towards the commercial side.
Oh, all right, that's cool.
No, they've had about 2 or 3 different models before I ever got involved. It was much more of a do-it-yourself crowd before they started going commercial.
Technology keeps changing all the time. So yeah, we'll always, everybody on the internet these days are hopefully keeping up with everything. I remember back in 1995 when AOL was new, and it's like I got out of the Army, and literally in 1995, that's when AOL 95 came out. That was like, Windows 95, and that's when everything started changing for the internet. So it's weird when you think back. John, you were around back then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got on the internet early also. Remember going through all the setup, and you have to download the browser and make all your settings so you can connect properly. And that's right. The modem dialing up and connecting. Yeah.
Do you guys remember Net Zero?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember Net
Free
Zero.
internet connection with ad support, and it did not last long at all.
It's crazy. I think in like 5 years, we're all going to be talking on some kind of, not like a Bluetooth, but like, or maybe something like it, where we're just like, bing, bing, click, and we're like, hey, what's going on? Let's do a podcast. You know what I mean? We don't even need a mic,
Well, speaking of memory lane, do you guys remember Netscape?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
I remember
Netscape. With
Netscape.
Earthlink.
I use Netscape a lot.
I used to use Netscape all the time.
How about Mosaic?
Yes, I used Mosaic as well.
Is it fair to say Netscape was the mac and cheese of the internet back then, Anthony?
The mac and cheese?
It's a private joke. It has to do with... Yeah,
like
Will knows what I'm talking about.
He's just
that explains why I'm lost.
Shut him up. That's
well,
funny.
Anthony does. Anthony is an awesome host of his own podcast called Club 602, and I am privileged to be a member of that panel along with Will. And he always makes a private joke about how mac and cheese is poor people's food.
It is poor people's food.
What do you mean it's poor people's food? It's good.
Yeah, but it's poor people food.
He doesn't express this, but he says that people eat it as the main dish when it's actually a side dish.
Actually,
yeah,
I've had mac and cheese as the main dish at some pretty fancy restaurants, and they do some pretty crazy
Dude,
things.
Dude, you got to
with
talk
it.
about this in Club
You'll never
Poor
convince Anthony. You'll never convince Anthony.
Food.
Hey,
I'll
have
save
you
it
guys
for
heard of a
602
place
then.
called Noodles and Company?
No.
No, we don't have that in California because we have jobs.
Oh.
I made a post. I made a post earlier today, and John, I'll let you get back to the Noodles Company thing. I made a post earlier today on Facebook. I had dropped some knowledge, as Anthony would call it, about how Marco Polo. There was an argument someone made with me because, according to history, Marco Polo, the Chinese invented the noodle, and Marco Polo brought the noodle to Italy. So when all the Italians think that they invented pasta, they really didn't. And somebody tried to correct me today with some counter information, and I'm like, no, Marco Polo. So what were you going to say, John?
No, there's a restaurant called Noodles and Company, and they serve all kinds of noodle dishes, including a few macaroni and cheese dishes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
well,
so cool. There's like a 5-cheese Wisconsin mac and cheese, and you get that as the main dish.
Interesting. All right. Well, geez, there's so much knowledge. Like I said last week, there's always so much stuff that drops every week. This week, it's like overwhelmingly almost too much stuff to talk about. But that's why I'm going to do a almost 2-hour show. And if you guys can hang in there for the whole almost 2 hours, that's fine. If you can't, whoever's left, even if it's just me or me and Ross, we'll carry on the show to the end. But it's okay. Yeah, we'll see what we can get done. So the first article that dropped was... Well, not dropped. My friend, Jesse Markel, I'm going to give him a shout out because I told him I would. And John, you know what? I'm going to let you lead on this one as soon as I pass the baton. But he dropped an article about arguing 7 reasons why Batman v Superman is good. And John, why don't you take it away with that?
Okay. The article itself is very good. Actually gets into a lot of good plot points that people may have missed, but I actually wanted to focus on some of the comments in the article.
Okay.
One person made a very good point in saying, why are we defending the movie? Or why do we feel the need to do that when we didn't do this with movies like Deadpool or even The Dark Knight Rises? And I think... the article also brings up a lot of points about direction, but it seems like, again, DC is going in the opposite direction. For example, making the Blu-ray version R-rated simply because Deadpool was rated R.
Interesting.
So, But I guess the whole point is we keep defending Batman versus Superman and the direction that DC is going. But why is this needed in the first place? Well, is there something really that wrong with the movie? Because again, we didn't have to defend Deadpool or other movies.
Well, that's because Deadpool was good.
Well,
there you go.
There's a phenomenon that I notice when it comes to certain films, especially films that are really divisive, where if the negative feedback starts rolling, people feed on that and really let that drive them, and it suddenly becomes interesting or fashionable or just socially acceptable to pan a movie simply because other people are panning it. My example, the Matrix sequels.
Oh, good example.
Okay,
so many people simply just dislike those movies because other people dislike them. They don't give them the chance. They don't listen to it. They don't see what's going on, and they say, "Oh, I don't like that movie. It has no plot."
There's a theory out there that there's a conspiracy against DC. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of John Campea. He's a very famous podcaster, and there's another Joyce or Joy. I forget her name, but there's a war going on between reviewers, and it was on his John Campea's personal podcast today that there's a theory out there that people believe that there's a paid off conspiracy to be anti-DC and be pro-Marvel, and that it's more one, and that's why there was, because so many people are confused as to why the critical hate was so strong for Batman v Superman when the personal fan reaction wasn't quite equal to that, and so a lot of people wonder if it's a network like DC versus Marvel, kind of a conspiracy. I don't personally believe that's the case, but I can see why some people might think that. What do you guys think?
I don't think there's a... Well, I don't know. I don't know between the reviewers. Maybe it is. But if you think about movies like Deadpool, when they announced Deadpool, everybody said you can't make a Deadpool movie, right? But Ryan Reynolds did it. Ryan Reynolds and company did it. So...
Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of conspiracy. I think that might just be reaching for why the movie doesn't get good reviews. I mean, that would have to be a lot of critics for that to happen.
Yeah, but...
And then it's kind of like, what's the point? I mean, they're critics, so you like to think that they would not have any kind of bias. But I don't know. Are there really that many people who don't like the DC movies?
Well, think about it this way. The idea is that there's a studio... It's more... It's not a hatred of the factions, so to speak. It's more like it's a studio war. If this company is going to make this much money versus this company, which is it's a business war. It's almost like a mafia war. It's like this business has this much money, and obviously Disney and Marvel have way more power than Warner Brothers and DC. So DC is trying to catch up, and the idea is that maybe somebody's been slipping some people a few notes to kind of discredit before people start watching. And you have to admit, the viral reaction has made an effect on the movie. That's why in fact, one of the topics we didn't talk about last week that we didn't have time for was that they're going to release the Batman v Superman R-rated version in the theater before it was originally just going to go straight to the Blu-ray. They've announced it's going to go to the theater. Now that tells me they want to make up for the disdain they got for the theatrical release.
I really just don't understand the uproar, the animosity.
That's what I'm saying.
They produced two different versions of the same damn film. One's rated PG-13 because they believed it'd be a better marketing for the theater, and then one's rated R for everyone who wants a rated R version. You have options. One or the other isn't going away.
I don't know if it's
you have a choice. You have a choice. Is it so wrong to have a choice?
Wait a minute. But wait a minute. Everybody read what the actual length of the film was before you even begin to cut it? It was 4 hours long. It was 4 hours long.
Did people cut it pissed off
when
they heard that there was going to be an extended edition of Lord of the Rings?
What I'm saying is, he wrote a movie and he did a movie that was 4 hours long. He had to cut it back to 2.5 hours, which means you're cutting out a lot of that intricate movie, that dialogue, that ability to tell a story. That's why people were upset, because he's jerking along and he's like, well, why is that happening? Why is that happening? He cut it out of the movie because he had a 4-hour friggin' movie. Just make a 2.5-hour movie.
If a movie's good enough, though, the length won't matter.
Well, how long was Titanic?
Look, if he's cutting out an hour and a half of the movie.
Yeah, no one's going to show a 4-hour movie, because then that cuts down on the number of movies the theater can show.
Right, but he did it, and he's like, well, we have to cut it back. And I'm like, well, why couldn't you just write it and have it? That's what Marvel do. Their movies are scheduled for a specific length of time, and that's why Marvel works. Their stories are in the movie, and it flows. I think it's just Zack Snyder. I'm hoping when we get to the Suicide Squad that it's going to be a lot better, because it's a different director.
It will be. Will, I want to say this. I heard what you just said, and I think you're right. But here's my thing. Suicide Squad, here's the thing. All right? It's about confidence, okay? Marvel has had almost nothing but slam dunks. All right, it's just the way it is. It's the fact.
They've had a couple of the Hulk movies that didn't work very well.
Okay, but that was before the current, the current.
Do not speak of that movie.
We talked about this.
Two of them.
And we've talked about this over the last 3 episodes. Marvel has a slam dunk home run record as far as the last decade, pretty much. Other than Anne Lang, we're not going to talk about that. It's like we don't speak of the people in the woods. Kind of like, what's his face?
We don't speak of Batman and Robin either.
My girlfriend just reminded me. M. Night Shyamalan. So we don't speak of other than the Anne Lee movie. When we go forward from the next Hulk movie after that with Ed Norton, onward from that, everything that Marvel's done there's been no bad movies. There's been no bad reviews. There's been no failures on their part. None. I'm not even being sarcastic. 0 failures on their part. Some have been more of a higher level success than others, but no failures. So
do you think that's the Kevin Feige, who's the Marvel
Kevin
president,
Feige.
Feige, he's the one that's directing this. Does DC have anybody like him or is it just
that's
the
issue? Yeah.
Yes, John.
Because he's the I don't know if you want to call it overseer, executive producer, showrunner, whatever.
They know what
that's
they're
making
doing.
Sure everything sticks to the same basic formula.
Yep,
and that's
John just
what
hit
DC
the nail
hasn't
on
done.
the head.
They're letting Zack Snyder run this thing.
What they need is a Kevin Feige. They need someone. Zack Snyder's a director. He's not a overseer. I don't even know that. And they need somebody to say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're confident about. Because let me put it to you this way. One of the biggest mistakes they made was, and they talked about this in a couple of podcasts, credible podcasts, when I say, I'm not just throwing things out in the air. Collider, for example. I will give you an example. When they announced that The Rock would be playing Black Adam, okay, the movie Shazam isn't scheduled to come out until 2020. That's not like 4 more years from now. Well, at the time they announced it, 5 years. You never announce a role for a character 5 years in advance.
And do they even know if he's going to be available?
The Rock wants to do it, but you can't be sure that 5 years from now, you know what I mean? That shows they were desperate to get people excited for the DC universe.
Right, because if you, again, compare to Marvel, Marvel has all these movies set up already.
They got them all lined up like ducks in a row.
Yeah, if they say Avengers Infinity War coming 2020, well, everyone knows about it and they get excited.
Exactly.
But DC is saying, okay, there's going to be a Shazam movie in 2020. Oh, well, let's hope Justice League doesn't fail. Otherwise, everything is going to collapse.
Exactly. That's my point.
They only started doing that to build... Marvel only started announcing stuff way, way, way in the future after the first Avengers movie.
Right. They have every right, though. They've got
that point,
right.
It was just rumor. It was just speculation. It was, hey, they're doing... that people pieced together all of these post-credit scenes and said, hey... I think they're building up towards something.
DC doesn't have
And it wasn't until after
clout.
that Avengers proved to be a success that they started showing, hey, look at this. We've got a plan for the next decade.
Exactly. And
well,
DC doesn't...
Go
ahead.
I'd like to point out, though, that think about what Marvel does with their characters. I mean, you had Jon Favreau, who did the Iron Man. He kept it as it was in the... I mean... pretty much that people expected that character on screen and they got it. Whereas you see Superman, the Man of Steel that Zack Snyder did, he's killing people. I mean, they changed the character, right?
Well,
so is it that he's altered the character from the comic books that people don't like, or because he's putting a new spin on it? People just want to see the characters from their comic books. They don't want to see a new interpretation of the character.
That's not necessarily true. Let's look at Star Trek 2009, okay? When JJ took Star Trek and wanted to introduce it to a new audience, you have to remember that everybody that watches Superman or Star Trek, there's always a new generation that comes, right? So they're not all people who are like you and I. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I grew up with the comics and I read it. But that if you're targeting that audience, you're making a mistake. I don't mind if people ignore me, because if you're a director or a studio and if you want to bring in a new audience, you don't want to target the obvious, because the generations are getting older and there's new generations of people. So you want to target a generic audience. You want to bring in people and say, it's like Doctor Who. You want to bring in a new audience, but you want people to look back at the old stuff when they have time and say, hey, I have enough interest in this character. Go ahead, sorry.
You can't say Superman kills people, because he doesn't.
Well, look, that's the whole point. But they led into that. That was the whole point. His killing Zod.
And then what about his father, Jonathan Kent? Remember in the flashback scene when Clark Kent saves the bus full of kids, and his dad's like, "Oh, should you have saved them?"
Exactly.
Gee, I don't know. Maybe.
I just pulled up a list of 15 times when both Batman and Superman have killed in the comics.
Yeah, we'll link it on the show.
But my point is that they also changed his father to be... In the comics, he was always like, no, you need to save people. That's why you're here. But in the movie, he's like, well, gee, I don't know.
Actually,
you should hide.
Superman has killed Zod, by the way, about 3 times in the comics in the last 50
but they were
years.
alternate realities. They were alternate realities.
Not always. They would.
I don't think he killed him. It's probably on Earth 2 or one of those multiverses.
No, it
okay.
wasn't.
Do you remember what happened after, though? When he killed Zod, I think in a pocket universe, Superman had a mental breakdown and then exiled himself to space, where he met up with Mongol and Warworld.
People had more problems with Ben Affleck's version of Batman killing people, even though it was based on the Frank Miller thing or whatever, and he had lost his way. But Superman, no one that's the weird part. The audience forgets Superman has never been that he never killed. It's just he regretted it. Batman,
right, yes.
Batman was the one who was always, I will not kill because of what happened to my parents. However, the Frank Miller version that Ben Affleck's Batman was based off of was, he's supposed to be the older Batman who, he used to be that way. He used to be the whole, I will not kill. But he finally realized, I just can't do it anymore. I can't not kill.
That was one of the themes of the movie. When Superman left Lois to go confront Batman, he said, no one stays good in this world.
Exactly. And people overlook that.
It was Superman losing his faith, and then eventually Batman regaining his. That's why he didn't brand Lex at the end of the movie, spoiler.
I like to bring up something about DC and all these R-rated things, that the reshoots for the Suicide Squad. I heard saw a comment, I don't know who it was from, I don't know whether it was from a critic or just a fan, but they were like, it seems that Marvel, like we've talked with Kevin Feige, he has a plan, whereas DC is reacting to everything that comes out.
That is a good point.
Deadpool's got, let's have an R-rated thing. Oh, we need the Batman vs Superman was dark. Let's make Suicide Squad a little lighter. Let's put more jokes in. They're responding instead of having a plan and sticking with it.
You know, I agree with you. They are reacting. You know what? Well, damn, I never thought about that before, but you're right. They're doing that.
I do want to say this.
It's not like we didn't call it when it happened.
Yeah.
Superman, when he's killed, they were all aliens that have come to Earth, mainly from Krypton.
Right.
Batman, on the other hand, has killed humans outside of Darkseid. So
Darkseid.
People died in Metropolis and all those buildings that were falling down.
You know, that's just collateral damage. Come on.
It's just collateral damage.
It keeps the insurance company busy.
We're
just making new real estate. That's all. We're just making new space.
Let's segue a little bit, because this kind of does segue into the subject of Supergirl and what we were just talking about. Who among us here? I know Anthony did.
I think the question is, who did not see it?
Who did not? Exactly. Who did not see the Supergirl season finale?
Raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand.
Raise your hand if you didn't see the Supergirl finale.
I didn't.
No.
All right, we'll forgive you, Ross, because, just because. So, John, you saw it?
Probably one of the best episodes of the year.
Kato?
Never heard of the series, sorry to say, boys.
Supergirl?
What?
Not popular down here in Australia, really.
Oh!
Supergirl is not popular in Australia.
I disagree, because I just had 3 people last night from Australia, from New Queen, what the heck is his name? Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Who were like talking about that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kato to the show.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
He was just kind of here, and we said, hey, you can talk, and that's fine. I'd never met you before until now, so hello.
Greetings.
So welcome to the show, Super Geeks.
We
talk about superhero stuff.
You're supposed to say g'day.
G'day. It's g'day, mate.
Yes,
g'day, mate.
G'day, mate.
Barbie.
I love Australians, by the way. I dated an Australian girl, and it was my girlfriend.
It didn't work out, did it?
No, it didn't work out. I just can't say it because my girlfriend's nearby.
It didn't work out.
But no, I'm glad, Kato. Seriously, have you've never watched any of the CW shows or Supergirl or?
Like it is available in Australia, yeah, surely.
Of course it is.
But when I looked at it and the advertising, like every time something from America is like instantly.
We suck, don't we?
No, not
America. F yeah.
Like they say that 2 hours after the US watches it, Australia gets to watch it as well, and I'm like, all right.
Unless
you get 2 hours after America, I get 3 hours after the East Coast. You got people posting on Facebook, Supergirl is super. Even Melissa Benoist is Supergirl, and I'm like, it's not even time for it to come on yet.
You ruined it.
Right? You're totally ruining it. I can't even get on social media in California.
If you haven't figured that out by now, it's your own damn fault.
I want Kato to be on the show from now on, just to say, I haven't seen what you're talking about. I have no idea. Just to keep us humble.
I want to be the guy that's like completely neutral here, 2 sides of the story, and give my 2 cents in where I can.
Before we move on, I'm making a note on my notebook so I don't lose track of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch any of the CW shows? Flash, Supergirl, Arrow. Do you watch anything at all?
To be honest, like with the whole comic book series, like I'm more of one of the Marvel guys where like humanity, like the story has to relate to human related incidents. Like,
Okay, but you do like the Marvel movies, right?
yeah,
You like
Okay.
You like Thor.
Do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
no, I have not watched that. Apparently, no.
Well, what are you good
I'm,
for?
I'm not a TV type of guy. I'm more
Movie
like
guy then.
I'm a movie guy. Yeah, like
All right.
because when I watch TV these days, like I only watch the news or no, I rarely watch TV. That's the thing. I'm always online, so a movie or two here and there is good enough for me. You know.
So, is it fair to say we could call upon you to react to maybe Marvel movies? Anything?
Sorry. What was that? Sorry.
Oh,
Say
can you
again?
react to like Marvel movies?
Oh, like yeah, you can actually feel a lot more emotional, human type relations to a Marvel movie than a
I
DC
agree
one.
with
Is
you.
like with a DC point of view, it's like we need this, like Kryptonian or need someone beyond Earth to show us the right ways of how to live. When the
Okay.
Marvel universe shows us like clear, like these are humans doing human activities. They have weaknesses and limits, and they that's why when the Avengers came out, it's like they all relied on each other's strengths.
Okay. I
To
agree.
support
I
each
can
other.
see where you're going with that, and I appreciate
He has
your...
that Batman point of view, hence the movie. But then when things happen, Batman's like, maybe we do need him.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this, Kato. Let me ask you this, just because you're not because you're Australian, although I love Australians, so it's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, we
But
found
because
that out.
yeah, because you haven't seen the movie, let me ask you this: has the negative feedback of Batman v Superman influenced your decision to see it? In honesty,
I can say partially yes. I'll say partial because I have not seen it. I did see reviews of it, but
that's what I'm saying. Has it influenced you?
yeah, I would say yeah.
All right, that's fair. Thank you very much for that honest feedback. And by the way, you're welcome to stick around.
Cheers.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, honestly, that, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. We get a little sidetracked, but I'm glad that he piped up, honestly, because...
Do you love Australians?
I do, because they did one, and I almost moved out there because... Anyways, this is a long story. I'll talk about that in the next episode.
I just wanted to get you in trouble.
I love Australians. No, you won't get me in trouble. Maybe. She just came
Okay.
back in the room. Damn.
All right.
So let's get back to Super.
So, Supergirl finale. And Kato, please stick around unless you have something better to do. But there's nothing better to do than to hang out with the Super Geeks. Ross, do it.
Hey, I'm all ears. Like technically, what you guys are talking about, like it's nice to hear that someone's like generally interested in these type of comics, and to say whether or not directors have done a good job or not. Like
Yeah.
with the Batman Forever and Batman Returns series, like introducing the bat nips and whatnot. That was just a guy's point of view.
That's a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
It was a huge
No.
mistake, but at the same time, it
Yes,
did bring
big.
out another point of view of Batman v.
Well, it wasn't
the
just.
Batman
I
series.
think people overlooked nipples on the suit. It was just the acting and the story was crap. I mean, it was
look.
it was just crap.
That Batsuit haunted me for 8 years.
George Clooney actually went on record on the Jonathan Ross show as saying he gave, anytime he ran into a fan that told him they watched his movie, he paid them back. He pulled out of his wallet the price of the ticket and handed it to them.
Wow.
I'm not even joking.
Wish I ran into George
I got it.
Clooney.
Yeah, you're in California. Did you run into him? You should
He
run
is
into
so
him.
No,
ashamed.
unfortunately.
He is so ashamed, rightfully so, of
Get
being
my
a
money
part.
back from me too, would you?
He was worried. He was talking about this on Jonathan Ross. He said, I was worried I killed the franchise. It's the truth. The bat nipples.
Yeah.
All because of the nipples.
Yeah. Well, not just because
No,
of that.
not
It was a
just
bad movie.
that, because of the acting and the story
Why?
and
Yeah, I know. It's-
the tone.
Arnold's
Yeah.
incessant one-liners.
Right.
Well, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. I mean,
It wasn't that
it was
bad. It
crap.
wasn't him.
It was
So-
terrible.
It was
It was
crap.
nothing
It was
but
crap.
one-liners, one-liner after one-liner after one-liner, and
The
then
thing
a
is-
stupid-looking
the thing is-
suit.
He
mean,
couldn't be a bad guy. He had to be redeemed in the end. And I'm like, come on, he's the bad guy.
Kato, what are you going to say?
Why couldn't he? I mean, he would never do a Terminator as a bad guy anymore after he got famous and became a good guy. I mean, go back to your bad guy roots.
Just speak, Kato. You got to speak over.
What was the difference between the Adam West version of Batman and that actual movie?
That was designed to be campy. That was designed to be campy, and it was in the 60s.
Well,
I know. The whole thing. It was a comedy. It was putting it in the face of the comic readers and the people who were putting it down. That's what it was designed to be that way.
Well, wasn't that movie sort of trying to capture that?
It was all designed that way. And
all right, guys, hold on.
The first 2 seasons of that was great writing.
All right, we're getting a little sidetracked. Let's jump back onto the Supergirl finale. And,
I do have to say this. I have to say this before we go to Supergirl.
Okay.
One of the worst one-liners from Arnold Schwarzenegger and Batman and Robin. Tonight's forecast: a freeze is coming.
The best one-liner ever. But honestly, his suit was actually really nicely done, though.
Other than the nipples, yeah.
Yeah, the suit was
Other than the bat nipple, I mean, Mr. Freeze's suit was actually really iconic.
Oh, him, yeah. I had no problem with. Well, anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
Sorry, Supergirl. Sorry to distract you.
No, it's hey, feel free to speak up. Don't worry about it. We will correct ourselves if we can. So the Supergirl finale. Magnum, you were starting to speak up on this because you had just gotten back from making mac and cheese. I'm joking. So, what did you think of it, Magnum, of the finale?
I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought it was interesting how she... I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler or not, but she was saying goodbye to everyone because she was going to do that final fight. She was saying her goodbyes to everyone. I thought that was a little profound, She's going to each person. And even Kat Grant, right? And she's like, you sound like you're saying your final goodbyes or or something's going on here, So I thought that was interesting because Supergirl knew that this was a fight to the finish to save the Earth.
A lot of people had a problem with the way that they did the forced goodbyes thing, but I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't know.
When you say people had a problem with it, what were their responses?
Well, they felt it was forced. They were trying to create the drama of making this the finale. There's the IGN, for example, had this review, and they were talking about how, other than that one issue with the whole forced goodbye, because they felt it was, it just felt out of place. Other than that, a lot of people thought the episode was pretty solid.
Let's ask everyone here, those who watched it. I didn't feel it was out of place. I thought it was fine.
No, I liked her. I liked the whole setup, and she's fighting the last fight, and she's saying goodbye, and she's getting ready to basically go out and die. The problem that I had with it was, once she's out in space floating around, she's got rid of the ship, it's her sister gets in the pod that flies up. I thought his Superman was going to come up and fly her. And
that's what I was thought. Because even Christopher Reeves was in space. Remember in the movies?
Right, yeah.
But the thing I didn't like about her sister getting in the pod is how that pod's still functioning. Why aren't we using it completely? Why haven't we made a shuttle that mimics that damn technology? If it's still usable, why aren't we using it constantly?
It was very weird. It in storage. Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Like she rescued her.
That's the part that people should have a problem with, not with her saying goodbye to people because she might die in this fight.
And the fight was great.
The fight was awesome.
Jones rips that woman in half. I mean, come on.
John, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And yeah, I like those fight scenes. So, but did Supergirl kill Non?
No.
Or just kind of knock him out for a while?
They never actually clarified that.
Just beat him up.
Burns his eyes out, looks like. He burned his eyes
out. That was cool. How, she beat him like she overpowered his... The heat vision duel, I guess, is that what we're calling it? Oh, heat vision duel?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But they never really clarified. Obviously, he got disabled, and then he's probably in a prison. He's in one of those mini cells like the Flash, where nobody gets to pee, and nobody...
Right, nobody gets fed, they don't get to go outside on a break.
And then every time somebody comes in the room, just let me out and I'll show you my power.
They don't get to go to the bathroom, they don't get to eat, they just sit in a little glass or weird whatever, like on the Flash, where it's the running joke on DC when they have containment cells for supervillains. You don't get humanitarian treatment. You just sit in there. You don't get fed. You don't get to pee. You don't get to poo. You don't get to change your clothes. You don't get to shower. You just sit there and you're powerless.
You don't get a chair. You don't get a bed.
Yeah.
Well, remember the one on the helicarrier was designed for the Hulk, right?
Yeah, I know.
And they were supposed to just drop him from the ship, and he was to die on impact. So,
well, Barry,
and could they have any facilities that could really suit the Hulk? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know of a septic system on the planet that could handle that.
Right. But the thing is, you wouldn't put that into the ship. You just drop him out the ship and let gravity take its course.
Damn, dude, you just blew my mind, not in a good way. Honestly, because if you think about it. It's like Loki when he was in his little cell with Black Widow. It's like you think that a glass containment chamber, you got they don't bother to show how they're allowed to poop. They're allowed to even a jail cell in real life. They have a toilet.
There's a little toilet there. Yeah.
Yeah, they got nothing in these. If you're a supervillain, you're screwed. I hope you can super hold your pee. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad, actually. You Mulin Quim.
Yes, we all know what Quim means now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
well,
a running joke.
Yeah.
We did a joke on Club
family
602
podcast
where Loki did a thing where he called Black Widow a Mulin Quim, and on Club 602, Will identified. Will, what did it mean?
I'm not saying.
No,
just say it.
This is a family podcast.
Well, just say it's something very adult that they should not have gotten away with.
Yeah, Quim is a female genitalia, so that's a nice way of saying it. So
you know what gets me? Let's get back to Supergirl. What gets me is she's having that laser eyeball fight, right?
Right.
But she wins.
Right.
Nobody even thought about how is she able to beat this dude? This dude is older, stronger.
She used her anger. Remember, they if you look back to that episode with the red tornado. I accept it because she proved that she knows she has had practice.
Was it anger, or did she just dig down deep and
exactly?
She dug down deep and she wanted it more.
Exactly.
That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think she was angry.
Oh,
no! I
think she dug down deep.
Yeah,
in that episode when she's fighting Red Tornado, you could see the red around her eyes. Her face goes literally red. And in this last episode, when she gets the upper hand, she does the same thing. The first time she did it, she lost her powers. She burned herself out for a while.
Well, so Non had not had practice. Just because Non is a older person, he had not practiced what she learned the hard way through practice in the episode with Red Tornado. He's been on Earth for so many months or whatever, but he did not. It's like, okay, I'm going to give you this analogy. Remember in Man of Steel when the three Kryptonians came and Kal-El had 30 years or whatever of absorbing the rays of the sun, right? They had military experience, but they didn't have the experience of him being on Earth and learning how to use his powers. So when Non came to Earth in Supergirl, he had not had the experience that Kara had when she had shown in a prior episode. If she sums up all of her anger and she can mentally picture her worst moments in her life, her rage can focus her power and she can, heat blast.
Well, that's where I beg to differ because she's not an angry person. I think it's because she wanted it more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was anger though. I think you're mixing it up. And when her eyes went red, that's from the glow of the light. Our skin.
Her skin.
Have you ever taken a flashlight and put it under your fingers and it glows? It's the same thing.
Well, she basically demonstrated that she had more experience at this than Non did. That's all I'm saying.
Right, yes.
I believe that she's actually stronger than Superman, if you want my
I would like to point
opinion.
out that, remember, she's had all of this experience for this year.
That's what I'm saying. She's had practice.
She's had all this experience. I agree. She's had so much more experience over this year that
Non
she's now
had no
able to
reason
get the upper hand.
to focus his heat vision on somebody. I've never seen an episode where he had to do that. He had to do a lot of other things, and so did Allura. But what did he? Not Allura, the aunt there, or whatever her name is. But he didn't have a reason to use that power in the way that she did. That's all I'm saying. Is like, you may be there, you may be older as a person, but unless you've had the reason to practice that particular power, she did demonstrate on an earlier episode why she understands what she needs to do to get the advantage.
Yeah, but I just don't. It's just like when someone is lifting a heavy weight and they're weightlifting, and they muster up all their remaining strength and they yell and they scream and they push that weight up. I think that's what she was doing. It had nothing to do with anything.
Like another episode of Dragon Ball Z or something.
Yeah,
actually, that's a good
exactly.
example. Yes, where you summon up your rage, or you just, even though somebody might have the same basic skill set, like because they're from the same planet. You don't know. I mean, unless somebody's had the experience at doing it, they have the edge. I will never forget that episode, Anthony. We talked about that like 3 or 4 episodes ago. This is episode 9. Back, I think about episode 3 or 4, we talked about how Kara summoned up her rage. In fact, the reason I respect the producers is, they had her flash as she was shooting Red Tornado with her heat vision. They were showing what was going on in her mind. She was summoning up all the images in her brain about the things that would piss her off. So, to explain that, like,
right, and I get that, George, and that's what was needed to take care of that dude. But this fight, she was going to save the world. And she was mustering up, you are not going to destroy this earth, I will die first. And she was getting all that. It was all about who wanted it the most. And it was obviously her. And her motivation was saving the planet. So it had nothing to do with rage. It was not needed for this fight. You have to summon up that rage
to win, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that I disagree and that it was not rage. That's all.
They may not have presented it as far as acting wise in the way that we would have liked. It wasn't the best season finale. It was sufficient, I want to say. But if you look back on the prior episodes, I can allow for. I'll give it a pass because of what we've seen before.
I had no issues with the final the episode.
Some people did.
Season.
By the way, can I just mention what an amazing actress Callista Flockhart is as Cat Grant in this episode? Can we just talk about her for just a moment before we move on to the next subject? Because damn, we've talked about this before, but she was awesome. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, she's a definite.
Especially when she gave her that promotion and you thought she was gonna fire her or whatever. That was a great scene. In my opinion, she does. If she ever even discovers that there is a shapeshifter, she will immediately get it.
So there's another question. Does she know Kara is Supergirl? Is she just hiding it?
Not until
she doesn't know, because remember when John Jones came down as
That's
Supergirl?
What I was going to say. Exactly. The minute she discovers that John Jones exists or there's a shapeshifter, she'll know. But right now, she doesn't know that factor.
Wait a minute,
doesn't everybody know? Because
everybody knows John Jones exists now.
Oh, but they don't know he's a shapeshifter, though.
Didn't they see him shifting back into his human form?
Oh, damn, John, you just...
Well, only a few select people, not the whole world.
Yeah, he's got a point, though. I never thought about that. I don't know.
Because remember, after they got into the fight, he was revealed as a Green Martian.
Well, was it filmed? But that's my question.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Damn, there's so... you just blew my mind, though, because you may have a point. I always said that if Kat sees... Or is presented with evidence that there's a shapeshifter in the mix, she'll suddenly go, now I think I know what's going on. However, you just made me realize someone may have been filming that. That's a good point.
Right, and someone like Kat could easily get the footage.
Yep. So, all right. Damn, you got a good point, buddy. So I'm going to move on a little bit on the topic situation.
Yeah, I can talk again.
Do you have a problem with your mic?
No, I had nothing to contribute to the Supergirl discussion, so I just shut it up for a while.
Oh, that's fine, buddy. All right, so I was going to talk about Legends of Tomorrow. Nobody else saw it, or did they? John?
Crap.
No, it's briefly.
I didn't see it.
Okay, so none of you guys have watched Legends of Tomorrow. If you haven't, I'm not going to go too far into this. All right, I will only mention this just for a minute, just because you guys haven't seen it. Shell usually is here, and she's off on a sabbatical. She's on Mars, talking to John Jones, and so Legends of Tomorrow is a great show, and they have Jonah Hex that was just on the recent episode. It was great. There's no real reason for me to talk about it if none of you guys have seen it, but I will say this. Legends of Tomorrow does a great job of spinning off from the Flash and the Arrow and bringing characters like Jonah Hex into DC, and it's sort of a Doctor Who-ish type way that they do it. In fact, the producers are big fans of Doctor Who, and they're trying to spin it in there. And if you guys have not checked that show out, seriously, it's awesome. So we will just leave it at that. And so we will go on from there. So anyways, the next topic is Darth Maul. Okay. I linked you guys the fan film Darth Maul, Apprentice. We all love Star Wars, for the most part, except for maybe Will, who hates Star Wars. In fact, Will is a Luke Skywalker hater.
I don't hate Star Wars.
What?
I'm joking.
I don't hate Star Wars.
I'm joking.
I was not a big fan of this this new one, because I thought it was just a rehash of
I know. I was just.
It was just taking the piss, mate. It was just taking the piss.
Exactly. So. Yeah, in fact, Kato, I don't know if you've seen this fan film. You sound like a Star Wars fan. Australians usually are. But if you like Star Wars...
I heard rumors of this.
I can link it for you as we're talking.
Please do so. Is that okay?
I will. Hold on one second. There's no reason why not to. I can edit this later to make it shorter.
Apologies, gentlemen.
And ladies.
And ladies.
And George.
Ooh.
There it is, buddy. It's in the studio link. So check it out while we're talking, Kato, and you can chime in.
Yeah.
This is an amazing fan film. People have been talking about it all over the internet. The choreography is incredible. So it's a Darth Maul fan film, and it's not canon, but it's amazing what fans can do when they're passionate and they have the money. So, what do you guys think? For those who have seen it, I will let anybody talk that wants to speak up first. John,
seen
anybody?
Please, sorry to say.
It was pretty good as far as fan films go. The choreography was amazing. The acting was about as you expected. The only real spoken parts were of the small Jedi team and the Emperor. But the guy who played Maul, he
nailed it.
He definitely nailed it. His entire performance was through facial expressions, and for the most part, he had that grim determination to it. But in just the right moments, he either sneered or curled his lip in that sinister "I got you" moment. It was all good.
Well, the reason I'm asking, Magnum, are you still here or are you off?
I think he's off.
I think he's off.
Okay, when he's available.
Eating chicken.
Yeah, I was going to ask him because he's a martial artist. See, whenever I've noticed that people who are into martial arts watch this, they get really excited. So that's the only reason when he's back, I want to ask him. So anyways, yeah, take your time watching it, Kato and John. What did you think?
Okay. What? Oh,
What
I
did you
haven't
think?
seen it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and watch it. And I thought you had. I linked you earlier in the day. So guys, take your time because I can always edit this into a shorter. You know what I mean? This fan film, seriously, take your time. I mean, it's a few minutes long, so.
All right, why don't we move on to another topic?
It's 17 minutes long.
Oh yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, don't worry about it. We'll just move on to the next subject. And then when you guys do watch it, if you do get a chance, we can move on to another subject. So hold on. So the Batman: The Killing Joke. it was announced that this cartoon that's coming out, Batman: The Killing Joke, is rated R. Who are you guys familiar with that story in general? It's like a legendary story in Batman in the mythos.
Is that the one where he kills Robin?
So
it's the one where
that's where Batgirl becomes Oracle.
Becomes Oracle, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So first off, I think that is a story that definitely needs to be R-rated, like Watchmen, because it has a lot of adult content in it. So I don't think this is a case of DC doing some kind of gimmick by rating it R.
I agree. Batman: The Killing Joke. Actually, Heath Ledger, when he took on the role of the Joker, he actually was required to read this graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
And when he did Batman: whichever one it was, The Dark Knight or whatever it was, he loved it, and his Joker was modeled after this Joker. So it's one of the darkest Batman stories ever told, and it's very grim. And so a lot of people don't know that, of course, because you have to be kind of a comic book aficionado to know that, which is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It just is. And it's just one of those things, so, there's a lot of dark things that happen. And in my opinion, there's two things that make this a win. Mark Hamill, first of all, is voicing the Joker. And number two, they're going all out R. So they are appreciating the source material. They're not going to just play, well, whatever, they're not going to skim over it. This is good. But, I'm looking for opinions. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and isn't Batman being played by Kevin Conroy?
Yes, he
So,
is.
yeah, so both of those are great news.
Those are both wins. Yep. What do you think, Ross?
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't actually read this story. I'm going to eventually.
Oh, okay.
But it's definitely, especially now that I know that they've got both Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy on board to do the voices. That is the big win for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when they came out with I don't know whether it was the first one, but it was when Mark Hamill first became the Joker. I mean, he did the Joker, and I couldn't tell it was Mark Hamill because I'm used to him being Luke Skywalker. He was fantastic. I mean, he made the Joker until you get to Heath Ledger, the Joker. He was it. I mean, he voiced it. I don't know whether you could have done it physically, but so if they've got him and the guy who did the Batman voice, I mean, yes. They're going to have a win, and they're making it. And I agree with John. I'm like, they're doing it not to pander, but they're doing it to say, look, this is what the story is. And to me, this is what Deadpool has brought. It's like, look, there is an audience out there for adult content. Now, maybe you don't have to do everything for adult content, but you're going to get people that want to see these stories as they were written from the comics into a live action or a comic or a cartoon version of it. This is what people want to see.
Well, both Zack Snyder's 300 and Watchmen were R-rated.
And Anthony...
and those were both fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Yes, they were good.
Anthony, you're back.
And Sin City. Do not forget Sin City.
Right,
Sin City.
City.
That's true. Good point.
So, again, going back to, did you think DC put the kibosh on Zack Snyder because he had to make it PG?
Well, that's a separate
I mean, if he
subject.
did those 3 movies, and they were good, I agree, they were good movies. So if he's obviously a good director, do you think there's something within the DC community that said, look, you got to do it this way?
No,
well, yes, because you could never make an R-rated Superman movie. That's just not Superman. And I don't think DC was willing to risk a Superman movie becoming R with Watchmen because that was an adult comic.
So,
But
Anthony,
they've
what
already
we're
done it
talking
with
about...
Batman vs. Superman. So.
Hang on, Will. Anthony, what we're talking about, because you were away from keyboard for a little bit, is we're talking about the announcement that the new Batman, The Killing Joke, the animated movie that's coming out, is going to be R-rated. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story, but it's a story where Batman, where Oracle, which is my show, Bat Radio, the character Batgirl, where she got crippled by the Joker, and she's put in a wheelchair. It's the same idea. It's a famous story where it's the Joker at his worst, and it's a very famous graphic novel where Heath Ledger actually was required to read this for his role for The Dark Knight, and this is the worst version of the Joker, like the most evil you could ever even see. And not everybody's familiar with this version of the Joker or the story. However, they're about to release it in an animated form. Mark Hamill is doing the Joker. They announced it was going to be R-rated, and people are very happy about that. Are you familiar with this story? What is your opinion on this?
I am not familiar with the story, and my opinion is, honestly, I'm not really much of a Batman fan. I'm more of a Superman fan. How many times are we going to see, Batman crying about his dead parents and then, killing
This
the
is
Penguin?
different, though.
So,
this is different. It isn't Batman crying about his dead parents. It's like all of his friends around him being screwed over by the Joker.
I'm just not it doesn't excite me. Yeah, I know Mark Hamill has the voice of Joker from the animated series, but I don't squee over it. Hearing that he's going to do it again.
All right, well, that
doesn't do much for me. It doesn't, excite me.
All right, well, that's fair. At least you're being honest. It's cool. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Now, an R-rated Superman, I definitely go see that.
Really? You think that's keeping with the character?
No, somebody's going to die.
See, that's the problem. That is the...
This is where Superman gets to unleash his powers, his true power, and it scares the masses, it scares the people. Instead of looking at him as a superhero, they would be fearful of him. Not like how Batman v Superman did it, but truly fearful of this dude who's so strong, and there's... That would be an awesome movie.
I disagree. I don't think that's
just my
Superman
opinion.
Character. Right,
it's just my opinion. If it's an R-rated Superman, that's what I would want to see. Outside of that, truth, justice, in the American way, so I'm fine with that.
And by the way, Magnum, I'm not trying to go back and forth with subjects, but did you get a chance to see that Darth Maul video?
Yeah, I did. The
As
fan
a martial
film one?
artist, I want to know your opinion.
No. Doesn't do me any favors. So,
really? Kato, you just got done watching it. What did you think?
The choreography and whatnot is actually quite superb, but the only thing that keeps cycling in my mind every time I hear the character Darth Maul is, why him? Like, why is he keep coming back? How does he survive a chopped half, falling down a...
That actually was explained in Rebels and Clone Wars, in case you didn't know.
The Force, right?
Like, my honest opinion is, like, when Episode 1 came out, when, like, the whole movie was, like, below average standard compared to the original trilogy. But the only thing that was good about the first movie was Darth Maul having the two-sided lightsaber, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this superb choreography." Then at the end of the whole thing, like, he dies, and everyone was like, we wish that he was, here and, coming back or something like that. Or
Yep.
have something similar. But that's the reason why there's fanfics like such as these, which is superbly done. Rebels just felt like, try to give him more credit, yet he died again or something like that.
Oh, so you did watch Rebels?
A little, yeah, I did watch Rebels, and sorry to say that was the worst interpretation of him kind of being neutral, so to speak. It's like, he's neither a good guy or a bad guy.
Well, he wasn't really neutral. He did show his colors at the end.
Yeah, but still, like, just, like, sorry to say, just whatever canon that they're trying to do with Maul, drop it. Like, just, stop tarnishing.
Just finish him.
Either finish him or let the fans presume, create good content like this and stop tarnishing the name. Otherwise,
how
you're
is
going to
his
make
name
the fans
tarnished with his subsequent performances?
No, like in the Rebels, so to speak, not in the fanfic. The with the Rebels and whatnot, the Disney or whatever it is.
Maul, at least in my opinion, has the distinction. He is like, to draw a comparison, he's like the Tasha Yar of Star Wars.
Ooh.
If that makes sense to anybody.
Yeah, it does.
He was there for one movie. He made a huge impression. He was the first dark side user to face off against 2 Jedis. That's the first time we've ever seen that.
Well, he was the first Sith
and
we
he
saw
held
in like 20
he held
years.
himself. He held on long enough to kill one before being killed by the other.
That's
He was unique when we first saw him. I'm not just talking about the facial tattoos and the spikes and the double-bladed lightsaber. This guy was a young Sith in his prime.
Yeah.
It's the first time we'd ever seen that.
I would
and he's
love to see
captured the imagination of people like that.
I would love to see a movie, The Making of Maul, where he was this Force user. He had bad intentions, and then the Emperor came and says, "Let me train you." I would love to see something like that.
Okay, well, how do you know he had
Watch
that?
Clone Wars and the Savage Opress.
No, I want a J.J. Abrams movie, a version of this. That's all.
Yeah, but regardless,
I
like the recent Star Wars films have done a good thing by putting more choreography inside their films, other than number 2. Sorry to say, no. But yeah, like with these fanfics saying more choreography than storytelling, it's well done to the public by making these great fanfics.
I sort of agree with you, Kato, but at the same time, if you did see the Rebels finale, which it sounds like you did, I have to respectfully disagree, only because I think that they used Maul in a anti-Yoda way. Remember how he was hidden in his cloak and he was like trying to pretend he was old and weak and he had the stick? It was almost like an homage to Yoda. He was trying to be like, in a way, he became like the anti-Yoda. So for that reason alone, I sort of respected what they were doing with this character.
I wasn't praising the Rebels. I was praising the fanfic, not the Rebels. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like, if you got to use him, they did. In my opinion, they did use him in an anti-Yoda way. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like, they could have used him in so many different ways. But I think what's going to end up happening with Maul is either he's going to get finished off in the Obi-Wan anthology movie that they're talking about is rumored to be happening, or in the next season of Rebels, one or the other.
Like, which one would you guys rather see? Would you guys rather see an episode 8 or some prequel between 7 and 6, or between 3 and 4?
As far as Maul?
No, not
Or just
Maul, just
in
Star
general?
Wars in general. Star Wars in general. Like, which one would you rather see? Episode 8 or somewhere between 3 and 4?
Oh, episode 8. I don't want to keep
yeah.
going backwards. I want to go forwards.
Exactly. That's what we're all looking forward to. We want to go forward with this trilogy. We don't want, another prequel to the 1, 2, 3.
All right, then what do you think of the new Star Wars movie coming out this December? The Rogue One.
Yeah. That looks awesome, by the way.
It looks awesome, but for some reason, it's not getting me the hype. Like, it just, like, how a movie's supposed to give you a little bit of hype or something like that. Something just tells me, no, I don't want to watch this film.
Okay, well, okay.
I'm getting the complete opposite vibe, because I'm like, yeah, this is the story that I want to see. I don't want to see the Jedi. I don't want to see Sith. I just want to see Imperial soldiers versus the Rebel soldiers. I want to see human beings, aliens fighting it out, and I get one trying to stop and one trying to steal the plans. I want to see what happens. How did they get the plans for the Death Star so Luke can shoot that torpedo down the exhaust port? I want to know how they got it.
Well, okay, but do you really want to see that, though? Because for years, we always wanted to see Obi-Wan and Anakin fight to the death with lightsabers and how he became Darth Vader.
Because he did it crappily. He did it crappily.
Well, okay.
Well, look, here's the thing. Somebody made a good point on a podcast, and I don't remember who, but I'll give them whoever it is. I just remember absorbing this information. This is a time when we're seeing the world or at least the world that is established in Star Wars, where this is what happens when the Jedi are gone. That's what somebody mentioned, and I thought about that, and I'm like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. We are seeing the results of a world where the Jedi are gone and the horror that they have to go through. Now, you have to look at it this way. This is from their point of view. In a world where Jedi were a thing and you take them away, this is why the Sith wanted to take them away. It's like, if you remove the Jedi, this is what you get. And that's what Rogue One is supposed to show. And if you look at that trailer, it sort of highlights that. It's like, you know, the Jedi were the protectors. They were your guardian angels for whatever, for eons. But when you take them away, this is what you get. This is why it's important that they come back. Now, whether that matters to us in our world doesn't matter. In this world, it does matter. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's true.
So when you watch that trailer, appreciate it for what it is. This is a world where if you were part of this universe and you had Jedi and they were protecting you, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's something my dad drilled into my head. Repeat yourself.
Fair enough.
So it's like you repeat yourself and your point gets across. Sorry, he's passed, and I'm just sort of carrying on what he's told me to do. So, anyways, you see a world in that Rogue One trailer where if you have a war and you don't have Jedi, this is the gritty reality. And this is what we get. And I think that it makes a point to show why it's important for Luke to bring back the Jedi in this world, in the context of this world.
Well, even in episode 4, they technically didn't have Jedi. You had this aging guy who fought Darth Vader, and then you had Luke who was told, hey, you could learn the ways of the Force, but that's all he knew.
Exactly.
And basically, now you have this old guy who got killed is telling Luke to open up his mind. And that's basically it. So even in number 4, they didn't have a Jedi.
Well, 5 or 6. I mean, there was no Jedi except for Luke.
It was a legend thing. It was Obi-Wan was like, you know, ancient religion, like Han said, and whatever. And you're right.
Hocus pocus.
Yep, exactly. So this sort of illustrates that. And even with that guy, Donnie Yen, or whatever his name is, he's hit them with sticks. You know, whether he has force powers or not, the stormtroopers are like, whatever. The only person who's going around showing he has force powers is Vader. So, and he's showing it from a dark point of view, like, fuck with me.
Well, you got to understand, Vader and the Emperor were the only Jedi ever left. Because Vader killed them all. You know, and they were Sith, right? So, as far as Vader's concerned...
If you follow the comics, post Death Star, the Emperor has been creating successors to Vader, but they're not Force users. They still wield lightsabers, and they're all impressive in their own right.
Well, he's
one is a Mon Calamari Grievous. The other two have the abilities of Force wielders, but it's all through technology and genetic manipulation, and there's a whole slew of other kind of a sideshow of horrors.
Well, right, you're completely right, Ross. The idea
of Force users and the Jedi are still out there and are utilized to different ways.
The idea is that there's fear. There's fear in the galaxy. And you have to... What this movie is going to show is... This is that gap in between when the Jedi were extinguished, when the flame of hope was put out, and the world, the universe, saw nothing but where's our heroes, where's Jedi, and all they see is the stormtroopers, whatever, and maybe Darth Vader. And
even in the first movie, it was hinted that some of the Jedi was already in decline. You go to Tatooine, and they're like, "Oh, you're a Jedi? Yeah, right. We never see Jedi out here."
That was always...
The Jedi were only around the core for the most part.
Right, yeah.
And that was established way back. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, they didn't get out all the way to Tatooine, but then again, didn't they say that Tatooine didn't really follow the galactic laws anyway?
Well, they were on the Outer Rim. Yeah, they were
right.
outside of the... yeah, exactly. Anyways, yeah, you got a great point. Geez, you know, this movie, Rogue One, you know why? It's funny, because, you know, they take away the power from the creator, George Lucas. And people make movies about this. They make fan films about joking about how Lucas is butthurt about, like, losing his control and giving up the power to Disney. But let's face it.
Didn't he sell it for like $3 billion?
Yeah, something.
So why would he be upset?
I'm not crying over him. I'm not crying for him.
I'm saying $3 billion after taxes.
Yeah,
Right.
good point. Yeah, no
now
shit.
Star Wars is getting the Marvel treatment, and Star Wars fans couldn't be happier. And Lucas gets to go jump into his Scrooge McDuck vault of gold coins and swim around for a while.
Scrooge McDuck. I like that analogy.
Sure, get a few bruises here and there.
Right.
It's
so
true, though.
is it a little bit of jealousy going on that people didn't really like the prequels, but now they love Episode 8 and they
That'd be my
love
guess.
Rogue One coming out, and yeah.
Damn good points, guys. Damn good points. So I'm gonna... Go ahead.
It's still 50-50, to be honest. Like, we just don't know until the movie gets released, and then we have sufficient proof of how well the movie goes. We just don't know until we just don't know until the movies actually get released.
Yep. Good point.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So
Well, that's what they did with Batman versus Superman. The thing is, people, the critics got to see it before, and they're doing this same thing with Civil War. Critics get to see it before we do. They come up with all their reviews. People read the reviews and say, "Well, I'm not going to go see it." They form their judgment before they. I hold my judgments. I don't read these critics' reviews. I just said, look, I'm going to wait on that. I went to see Batman Superman. I liked it. I mean, there's plot holes and stuff like that, but it was a good movie. And, I don't see why people are so down on it. I can understand. I'm reading the backstory. Him 4-hour movie, cutting it back to 2.5 hours. I can see why you got all these gaps there, but I don't see why people are down and they make judgments before they actually see the movie themselves. I go see it and then I form my opinion.
And that's the way it should be. Go ahead, Kato.
But here's another, sorry, this may not be comic book related, but with the recent talks of the World of Warcraft Legion expansion, right?
We talk about all Kato, just so you know, this show is all about all things geek, so it doesn't matter if it's comic book related.
Yeah. This is the major thing that's plaguing my mind. If World of Warcraft really wants to, get those subscribers back or something like that, why are they giving alpha keys to these people? And not only that, they're actually playing storylines that's already one of them has, sorry to say, spoiler alert, that you can look up on YouTube. Tyrion Fordrin dies inside one of the mission, and clearly, that's a huge a huge story plot.
Tyrion dies?
Yeah, Tyrion fucking dies, and it's on. Sorry, I did say spoiler.
I'm just kidding.
Warning, sorry, but yeah, and I'm like, wait, hold on.
Pretty sure they have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that guy's going to get into a heap of trouble. If it's a closed alpha, they don't want you to create a lot of content to spoil stuff.
Yeah, but regardless, I'm seeing a lot of these,
as
YouTubers
an example.
Sorry.
Back a couple years ago, I was invited into the Command and Conquer closed alpha before they shit-canned the game. And in order to agree, I had to agree to a non-disclosure agreement saying that I wouldn't talk about my experiences openly until that agreement was lifted. And I'm pretty sure for an alpha test, that's the same for most everybody.
Yeah, you're not supposed to talk about it ahead of time.
But yeah,
alpha is just for testing.
You do not talk about Alpha Club.
I've been there. Sorry, Kato, go ahead.
YouTube stuff on that Legion stuff, and I'm like already, I just don't feel like I want to play Legion because the only thing that goes for an RPG is the storytelling and its plot points and what unique features they have. And I see the fucking Garrison back again, replica or something like that. And I tried to get back 3 years after not playing World of Warcraft, try to get into the Warlords of Draenor. I can't get in. I just can't play the game. I really it's an unplayable.
Yeah, I
state.
hear you there. I stopped playing with the when my character was able to become a Death Knight.
To say before Cataclysm, it was not bad. It was actually really good content.
Yeah,
Cataclysm, when they introduced Cataclysm, it was a hell of a mess. Your epic gear was now not considered as green gear; it was white gear or something like that, and it was really hard to transition. And
I felt that way when they launched Burning Crusade.
I had a gnome Death Knight, guys, and I have to say it was like Marvin the Martian on acid.
like Blizzard has to giving these people keys or something like that. Tell them stop, producing advertising their content or something like that, and just go, well, yeah, let's focus on storyline. We heard your opinions, great. We'll refix the game and then release it. Not just, oh, look, here's a release date, and whatever's on the alpha is going to be in the beta and full release. It's not looking great, sorry to say, and it's ruining the content of the game.
Okay. Well, and Kato, by the way, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to have you back on the show, by the way, because you popped in here on this episode, and I have to say, I really enjoyed all of your contributions, even though you sat back and said, hey, when can I pop in? But honestly, you've been very good.
I just wanted to stay in for for 10 minutes, see how you guys interacted with each other, and
no, dude,
it's great to actually voice an opinion, to say it's great that you guys will open up and just listen to a guy's point of view and then counteract it. I love those type of arguments.
I hope you do it again.
Debates.
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely stick around, because we're almost a little bit through the show. But let me just bring up one more topic, just so we can get through the highlights, and then whatever. There was one more topic that Ross brought up. So Elizabeth Banks, I hate Power Rangers myself, but we'll talk about it because it's news.
Mind if I take the lead on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Lionsgate and Saban are creating a new Power Rangers movie, in case you guys didn't know about it.
Unfortunately,
and the first... Say what?
Oh, I was just saying, unfortunately, yes.
Everyone has mixed feelings about it. And the first images of Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa has come out. And it's interesting. The costume is green, kind of leafy, I guess. The makeup is what caught me. Very, very subtle textures, kind of like a Star Trek Alien of the Week.
Sort of Poison Ivy meets
style to make her
Star
look
Trek.
alien. So it's the first image we've got from this new movie, and I figured it'd be worth talking about.
Oh, it is.
I actually follow Elizabeth Banks on Facebook.
Go ahead, buddy.
And she posted that picture. I'm like, that's a pretty cool costume. Now, I used to watch the Power Rangers when it was on TV and stuff, but I'm not so into it.
It still is on TV.
Oh, it is? Okay. I meant when it was still good. And just kidding. But the TV show was so campy that any costume that they're going to come out with now is going to be better than it was before. In my opinion, I don't go with preconceived notions or expectations on costumes, but I did like the costume with Elizabeth Banks in it. So,
well, the thing about the Power Rangers was it was based off a show that I used to enjoy back in 1993 called Super Sentai. I used to watch it on USA, which was a show. I don't remember the networks. Yeah, USA something. And America adopted it. They asked for permission to make an American version of it. It was and Super Sentai was...
It was a partnership between the Sentai Corporation and Saban.
Tohei. Yeah. Oh, Saban, you're right. So the American version that they adopted was horrible. Or I should say adapted, not adopted. That's the wrong word. And the version that came to America was just horrendous. I used to love the USA. I remember when I was a young kid watching it, and I was like, man, this is a good show. And all of a sudden, USA adopts it, or adapts it, whatever word you want to use, terminology-wise, and it was horrible. You got the Pink Ranger, you got the Red Ranger, you got the Green... What the hell? It was horrible. I mean, I have no words. It was just disgusting. Okay,
so, it was the same show from Japan.
Yeah,
except
but they did a horrible
except the fight sequences were all the same, and just the live action out of costume stuff was with American actors.
It was just horrible. The way they adapted it, I didn't like it. So I have plenty of friends who loved it, and I to this day will bitch to them about that. But whatever. That's your opinion. The only reason in my opinion, that they like it is because they're appreciating something that's split off from something good, from the Japanese version. So,
or nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. But it was bad. But anyways, getting past that part, as far as Elizabeth Banks, I love her as an actress. She's hilarious. She's sexy. I'd do her. And yeah, who did that?
Who
Was that you?
Kato?
All right. So I'd do her. My girlfriend even looked at me and said, I would too. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's permission right there, boss.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And so, but she's hot. She's funny. So as an actress, I give her a thumbs up. As far as her choice of shows, playing this this character, that doesn't make me want to see the movie. Unless it's on DVD.
I would go say, go Power Rangers, new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Anthony, you were part of that episode of Bat Radio. Remember that one? Wait. Anthony did an episode of Bat Radio. You did too, Ross. When Batman is talking to the 3 Green Lanterns, and I'm talking to them, and we were comparing them to the Power Rangers. Remember that?
I was deployed for that.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, yeah. I love Elizabeth Banks, but Power Rangers, I don't know.
I would wait until it gets on Netflix and then I would watch it, but I would definitely watch the movie. I'm not going to have preconceived notions. If it's got to be better than the TV version.
John, did you ever watch Power Rangers?
Nope, not at all. Never cared for it.
Good for you, my friend. Good for you.
So long as one Zord doesn't groin kick the other, I think I'll be okay.
I don't know. I'm looking at Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. Right?
She's hot, so it's hard for me to say.
I love the costume. It's a lot better than the ones that we saw on TV back in the 1990s.
Again, this is the thing for me. To me, she's hot. So for me to say, I don't.
Well, you can't recognize her as Elizabeth Banks in this costume.
The green hair is kind of hot, though. That's what I'm saying. I was like, it's hard. I'm trying to not be sexist, but I'm like, it's Elizabeth Banks, and she's sexy, and she's in a costume, and she's doing this character. So am I really looking at her, or am I really caring about the Power Rangers franchise? And at the end of the day, I have to say, it's her.
Well, I'm looking at the TV Rita Repulsa, and I'm looking at the Elizabeth Banks one. The Elizabeth Banks is 100 times better than the TV version of Rita Repulsa. So, yeah. So
there's no.
I just have a feeling the movie, even the costumes alone, are going to be better. It's not going to be so low budget.
But do you think that she's enough to sell the movie?
Japan.
We haven't even heard who. Here's my point. They haven't even announced the characters who are going to the actors who are going to play the other characters, right? The Red Ranger. Have they?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
All right.
The movie is going to be released on March 24th, 2017.
I was going to say, if they only released her information, there's something sad going on. But if they
No. You got it backwards. Any movie that releases the bare minimum generally is going to be a good movie. But when you watch a movie trailer and it's like 5 minutes long, then that's pretty much a horrible movie.
Okay. I'll give that benefit of the doubt. Ross has to save the day for the Power Rangers. Unless Kato has something.
Yeah, it's already saved in my heart.
What, you just want my opinion? Is that what?
No, not opinion. Can you contribute who is actually playing the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, you know what I'm saying?
Naomi Scott as the Pink Ranger.
There you go. Who is she?
Looking it up. Hang on.
Well, anyway, it's getting kind of late for me, so I think I'm going to
We're almost ready to wrap it up, John. Thank you very much.
Sure, yeah. We'll do it again next week and come up with some more topics to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Catch you next.
See you guys
Take care,
later.
John. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
To be honest, this is my interpretation of the Power Rangers. It's never who's underneath the suit that matters. It's really the choreography of the whole sequence. Like, how many Power Ranger seasons have there been, and when did the characters even matter? Do you watch it because of the story, or do you watch it because of the choreography?
They've cast all 4 Rangers.
Okay.
And there's a couple other people that are listed as cast members, but that doesn't tell me who they are.
Will, I hear what you think about this.
I have no opinion on Power Rangers. I've never watched
and
it.
that
I don't
should
understand
actually,
it.
And that right there should blanket the whole subject, because
Just
honestly,
because Will has not watched the Power Rangers does not speak for the masses.
I know, I'm just kidding. But honestly, Power Rangers, seriously?
I have no idea. I never. All I remember is those stupid little spandex suits.
Yep.
And the bicycle and motorcycle helmets, right? Yeah, the bike helmets.
And I just said no. I'm not watching that.
and they when they talk, because you can't see their face, they have to over gesture. That's what I really watched it for, was the over gesturing.
The over gesture when they had the helmets on?
Yeah, when they were in their ranger suits.
How could you
they
over
have to use
gesture
their
when they have the
voices,
helmets
and so
on?
it
You
was
can't
a
see
lot
their
of-
faces.
Yeah, they have
lot
to
of-
use their
it's a lot of-
voices and bodies to emphasize what they were saying.
Oh. Ross, weren't you going to explain some things about the actors?
I just said they'd cast all 4 Rangers, and that's about it.
All right. Well, all right. Good enough. So, anyways, hang on. Yeah, we've pretty much... This is the first time we've actually hit all of our show notes. Damn, guys, I'm going to edit this a little bit. But Jesus. What the hell happened here tonight?
Oh no, we reached a goal. I gotta fix that.
I know, Kato.
I know,
We still have 24 minutes left.
Must be my fault. Sorry, gentlemen.
No, seriously. We never usually actually hit all the check marks. Usually my fault, but,
I should elaborate a little bit more next time, I guess.
Yeah, I would like you to come back.
I didn't have
I like
to
you, Kato.
corral the
Kato,
conversation
I
this
have
time.
no clue who you are, but the fact that you just popped in is kind of cool. I liked it. Magnum, how do you know this guy?
All right, we can talk about that after the show, because we're talking
all
about
right.
Super Geeks.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking, did anybody see the episode of The Flash where he lost his powers?
Which one?
He ran
Flash.
himself out.
The one, no.
Flashpoint?
He gave his powers to Zoom. It pissed me off. I'm like,
That was like 2 episodes ago.
no, that was this
Flash.
week. What are you talking about? That was this week.
Oh, that one. I guess.
Isn't
yeah.
it Zoom, that TV show with a bunch of kids?
No, the thing is, the Zoom's the speedster from Earth 2. And the thing is, he's locked. This is what pissed me off about this episode. Barry's going on about, we got to kill Zoom. He's stuck on Earth 2. All of the little time things that they go through are closed. They shut him off. He doesn't have to worry about Zoom anymore. It's done. But anyway, he gets Cisco to open up a portal. Zoom comes through. They catch him a little bit. Then he breaks free, and he steals.
And then he sticks his hand
kidnaps
through.
Wally.
Yeah.
Kidnaps Wally, and so he agrees. Barry agrees to give up his speed to Zoom. So they do that. He gives Wally back. He gives speed to Zoom, and then he kidnaps Caitlin, and then he's gone back to Earth 2.
Whoa, wait a
I'm like,
minute.
what the
Maybe
fuck
I'm
is
behind
that?
an
I mean, that's
episode.
ridiculous.
Wait a minute. I might be
Pissed
behind
me
an
off
episode.
so much, that episode.
Well, I may actually be behind an episode now that you just described that.
That's
Wally
what
was
happened
involved?
this week.
Wally was involved.
Wally was involved because he kidnapped Wally and took him to Earth 2, and he was in the cages along with
Well, then
the guy
shit,
in the mask.
I'm behind an episode, so I have to. As soon as we get done with the show, I got to torrent this shit because I,
that was this week. That was Tuesday.
Damn. All right, well then I have some work to do. I have to. As soon as we get done with the show, I'm going to torrent. I have to pirate. Hello, world. I don't have my.
I was like, what the heck? Now he's the Flash, but he doesn't have any powers. And I'm like, okay, what are you
Well,
gonna
then,
do?
we would not call him the Flash. Let's call him the
Right.
Snail.
He's Barry Allen is what he is now. He's just Barry
The
Allen.
Right,
That's
he's
it.
just Barry Allen.
All right, guys. So, damn, you just blew my. Will, you just blew my mind because I didn't realize I was behind. I thought it was like ahead. Now I'm behind. I'm like the anti-Flash.
Yes.
So,
Right.
all right, guys.
And the thing about it is, it's the episode that basically he's coming back from the Supergirl episode. He's got
Yeah.
the thing on his chest.
Oh, he talks
comes
about
in.
that?
He's like, "Hey, I'm back!" And then He never mentions Supergirl in
That
the
pisses
episode.
me off.
He never mentions it.
That
He
pisses
just,
me
I'm
off.
back. How long was I gone? And they say,
Dude, that
oh,
pisses
we're
me
going to
off.
do this.
Oh, Anthony, by
What
the
the
way,
heck?
I'm sorry. Thank you, Will, for mentioning that because we have a little bit of time. So, Anthony, you were right about you mentioned about last time about how Anthony you call him Andy Kreisberg talked about how if there's a Kara on Earth 1, she has to be an alien too. Remember that?
Right.
Okay. So, do you know who Power Girl is?
I do know who Power Girl is.
Apparently, the rumor is that when he goes to Earth 1 or when she comes to Earth 1, she will meet what will become her counterpart will become Power Girl. That's the rumor.
Interesting. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
So she's going to come to Supergirl will come, but her doppelganger basically will be Power Girl.
that's the rumor. That what will end up happening, sort of a reverse of the and Will, you'll know what I'm talking about. Is and Ross, you will too, I believe. Usually it's Earth 2. That's the Earth 2 Supergirl is Power Girl. Shell, in fact, played Power Girl and Supergirl on Bat Radio. So the thing is that the idea is that when the Flash comes to Earth 1, or I'm sorry, to Earth to Supergirl's Earth, whatever Earth that is, the idea is that the Kara that is from his Earth will become Power Girl. It makes total sense. They're going to reverse it. They're going to say this Kara becomes Karen Starr. I think that at least that's her name in the comics. And she will be I don't know if she'll be short-haired or whatever, but she will be, or whether she'll have bigger tits, whatever. But she will become Power Girl. And I think that's kind of cool. I think it makes sense how they're going to flip it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they play that out.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think?
Again, I like reading some of the comments from people, and this is something that came up. They're thinking, somebody's speculating, are DC in all of their TV stuff moving towards having a sort of Justice League light, if you will, on TV? They have all of these, because they got a lot of different superheroes on TV now. And maybe they're bringing some Power Girl being one of them, being the part of playing the Supergirl part. And we got the Flash, got the Green Arrows, the Batman role, if you will. They're thinking sometime 2020 somewhere down the road, once all of these things are settled, maybe having a Justice League light thing where you got a Justice League on the movies and the Justice League light on the TV. And then you have movies where they're coming into that Crisis on Infinite Earths, bringing them all together.
I think you could be right, my friend. So before we wrap up
pretty
the show,
interesting.
I think you could absolutely be right. Before we wrap up the show, does anybody have anything they want to wrap up and say? Ross, Kato.
Yes, actually.
Good.
Time for a shameless self-promotion.
Yes, let's talk about Blood in the Air.
So, as some of you may be aware, George has alluded to several of his own projects, Bat Radio being one, Starfinder being another. Well, he's not the only guy who does audio productions in this group. I produce a audio production called The Blood of the Near. It is based on the Romulan faction of the game Star Trek Online. We're currently in pre-production and has been in a semi-hiatus in the last 2 years that I've been deployed back-to-back. Now I'm out of the Navy and have a lot of free time on my hands. So I'm working to build back up momentum to get this series out into the wild.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the series, want to contribute, we have an email address. It is bonromshow, BONROMSHOW @gmail.com. We also have a website, bloodofthenear.com. Visit both if you want to take a look at the show. We also have a Facebook page of the same name. We are a little over 100 likes now, so if you want to check out the series, see what we've produced so far, and want to contribute, please, by all means, give us a like.
And it's an awesome show. I produce Star Trek Starfinder, which is a one of my few projects. And it's getting close to 900 likes, and Bond is a I don't want to deter it and say it's a spin-off, because it's more like a brother show or sister show.
It's more like a parallel show.
We're in a shared universe. Let's put it that way. So we're going to spin it off. No, I don't even want to say spin it off because that's self-deprecating. See, the thing about Bond is that it focuses on the Romulan aspect of Star Trek, and I'm part of that too. And Ross is an awesome. He was in the Navy, and so he had limited time, but he has done amazingly well at getting the show launched. We have so many things going on with that. And what I'm going to say is this, that Starfinder and Bond are two sides to the same coin. They're part of the same universe, but at the same time, Bond is going to have its own identity. Okay? So I want you guys to check it out. I will link it when I air this episode. I will link Bond. And Anthony's going to be a part of it, from what I understand. I heard you guys talking.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I am.
And it's going to be a great show. If you love Star Trek, if you love the Romulans, if you love anything involved with that, it doesn't matter whether you even know what Starfinder is. Bond is Blood of the Air is going to be its own thing. If you happen to know what Starfinder is, great. It will be connected to it, but you don't have to. So we will promote it. We'll talk about it on future episodes too. And that's all you need to know. So...
Oh, I do want to say one thing. Star Wars Episode 8 will bring back the A-Wing.
It will bring back what?
The A-Wing fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's alive and well in Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well. All right, you guys. So we had a great show. We almost hit the 2-hour mark, and we really filled it. Kato, thank you for jumping in the middle of this. I would like to have you back. Where can people find you on social media? If you're even listening.
Twitter. I'm mainly just found on the TeamSpeak channel.
Yeah, no. Twitter's fine. Where can people find you on that?
I'm not on Twitter. I'm not.
Oh, all right. Well, then they can just not find you.
Just find me on the TeamSpeak server.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
You're just out there in the abyss. Okay.
Indeed, I come from the void. Just to insert 2 cents here.
Well, he's the lad from down under.
Exactly. The lad from down under. I like that. And Ross, where can people find you?
Twitter, Subsailor688, BonRomShow.com, Blood of the Near on Facebook, bloodofthenear.com.
All right. How do you spell Near, by the way?
NEI''RRH.
Just making sure. And what about you, Will?
I feel so inadequate now. I only have one.
You are inadequate, but fucking...
I only have one.
I can go on.
I only have Twitter, so on Twitter at Intrinsicus. That's intrinsic with the US on the end.
All right, and Anthony?
You can follow me on Twitter at Anthony Battles. Also, you can find Will, George, and I on Facebook page for Club 602. That's facebook.com/Club 602.
And we do Club 602 every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As far as any other time frames, you got to do the math because I don't feel like doing it right now. But it's a great show. I'm George. Chooch99A is my Twitter. You can find this show, Super Geeks, at SuperGeeks7 on Twitter. And other than that, if you want to hate mail us, it's supergeeks99 at gmail.com. We have had one person named Fred, and, well, he's been a little bit annoying. But he hasn't emailed us since last week. He's probably scared off. I don't really care. Whatever.
I love hate mail. It's the best in the world. It's better than praise mail.
I'm gonna assign Kato as our hate mail handler.
Yay!
Can you do that, dude?
Yeah, sure.
All right, fine. So, anyways, other than that, I want to thank you guys for joining us for this episode. It was episode 9. I can't believe it's been 9 weeks. I feel like I just had a baby. Yeah, so we will join you next time.